Good afternoon. I'm Sylvia Argueta, the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles. It's my privilege to introduce our next speaker, Antonia Hernandez. Antonia is the immediate past president and CEO of the California Community Foundation, one of Southern California's largest and most active philanthropic organizations. During her tenure, the foundation granted nearly $2 billion to support health, housing, education, and immigrant programs. Previously, Antonia served as the president and general counsel of the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, a national nonprofit litigation and advocacy organization dedicated to protecting the civil rights of the nation's Latinos. Antonia began her legal career as a staff attorney with the Los Angeles Center for Law and Justice and worked as counsel to the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary. On a personal note, it's been a highlight and honor of my career that Antonia hired me as a staff attorney at MALDEF. She is a mentor and an icon in the legal community, always fighting the right fights, always working towards a more just nation. Congratulations, Antonia, on your retirement, and thank you so much for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Antonia.
Well, it's nice to be back home. And Sylvia did not mention the fact that I was a lawyer for the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles back in 1976. So I am coming home. But and I did not retire. Friday was my last day. I'm taking back my time. I'm owning my time to do whatever the heck I want to do in my old age, okay? And today is the first day of my, quote unquote, owning my time, and only LSC could have brought me out of my house. My comments are sort of, relate to how fundamental and important legal services is. As an immigrant and a person of limited resources growing up and not having much knowledge of the law, my community and all communities, poor communities, were not given their due. When I went to law school, a lot of my friends were taking landlord-tenant, and I know it's very important for you. But I was taking contracts and insurance because it was in those areas that our community gets screwed, and excuse my French. And I really wanted to have the tools to empower our community to fend for themselves. I just heard partial of the speech about not getting sufficient funds. I worked for CRLA, and I know what it is, and some of my best friends were all legal services folks and attorneys, and I know how hard they work. I know the obstacles that you all face. I know the limitations and the low pay, and the sacrifice that you make to uphold our legal system and give it a semblance of impartiality. But the reality is that there's so much more that's needed. At CCF, one of the things that I loved about the California Community Foundation is that we could support and do whatever we wanted to do. And as I stayed there, LA, the capital of homelessness. And if you think about the housing situation, and I'm going to spend 2 minutes on that one because I think that is so important. The housing situation is complex, and it requires many different approaches. We need the nonprofit sector, the private sector. California and Los Angeles hasn't been building for 30 years. And our population has been growing for 30 years, notwithstanding the fact that we lost a couple last year. And so it's going to take us a while to get there. And the question is, what do we do in the interim to keep people with a roof under their head? We cannot solve the health problems if a person doesn't have a roof over their head. We cannot address the employment problems or the mental health problems or the drug problems unless someone has a roof under their head. The stability is critical for trying to address in a holistic manner, the needs of folks who have fallen off the grid. I love the flowers, and I've loved going to the Flower Mart. For you Angelinos, you know where the Flower Mart is. It's in the middle of the devastation of humanity. You see it there. And so what I would say to you folks, and I know you do this, we need to think creatively and think of innovative ways, and sometimes think of ways in partnering with folks you would not otherwise partner, okay? It is gonna take all of us, the business community, the free market, the nonprofit, all of us to work together. And we need to put aside some of our preconceived notions of righteousness. Because the reality is, we all need to work together. At CCF, on housing, we gave out grants to nonprofit developers, but we also gave grants to for-profit developers. We gave grants to prevent people from being displaced. It's not just building, it's preserving, it's protecting what we have as far as housing. And, working with government, working to eliminate some of the barriers that delay the building of a home. Right now, it's about $550,000 to $600,000 to build one unit. And in order to make it economically feasible, you have to build at least 54 units in order to make it. So you think about that, and we've cut up, sort of kind of figured out what it is. 1/3 is acquiring the land. 1/3 is building the facility, and 1/3 is the bureaucracy. And so we have to work with government. Yes, we want to protect, yes, we want safety, yes, we want that. But really, the bureaucracy is holding us up. And when I go to donors, or I used to go to donors as of last Friday, I don't have to go to donors anymore. Explaining to them why it costs so much money. My response is, you just landscaped your house and it cost you a couple of $100,000. But that's not the solution. The solution is really trying to figure it out and work, I said once again, with the public sector, with the private sector, with the nonprofit sector. One of the things that I've learned, and yes, it's been 50 years of my career, one of the things I've learned is that I'm not always right, I don't always get it, and I have to listen to folks and accept things that I don't necessarily believe in, but I have to be open-minded. I leave you with this. I only spent 3 years at Legal Services. I ran the Lincoln Heights Legal Aid Office of LA, which no longer exists, okay? They tore it down. But they were wonderful years. I had, a caseload of over 100. I used to have my viejitas that would bring me my burritos. You develop this bond with the people. And what they don't have in material goods, they have in bounty of love for their community and for the people that assist them. So to me, you are in the vanguard of making sure that my viejitas continue to receive the assistance that they need. And hopefully your boss here who just spoke can go and finagle more money from Congress so you can get a raise. Thank you very much.